I'm going to Belgium like right now. This is crazy. Belgium, you gotta chill out. You gotta chill out right now. No way. I should have known. Nah, Henry Ford too. What is up? Welcome back. Today I'm reacting to a video titled Belgium, a small country with outsized power. You know, this is my very first Belgium reaction video, and it's a long overdue. What's up? If you haven't met me yet, my name is Aaron, and this is Aaron Arnold Reacts. Through this channel, I'm discovering everything about Europe, the people, the culture, the sports, the history, anything you can imagine. And in this video, I am finally getting to Belgium. The goals of this channel are to laugh together, to learn together, and to have fun together. I post videos every single day, so I hope you'll join me as I discover Europe. Now, let's learn about Belgium, a small country with outsized power. Let's go. Oh. What's a vibe already?
Today, we explore all things Belgium. A small European country about the size of Maryland, Belgium packs a powerful punch in the global community, especially in luxury items. So what comes from Belgium?
Luxury items. Okay. I don't know anything about that. Let's go.
I'm glad you asked. In this video, we will learn the following. What highly desirable commodities are major Belgian exports? Are we talking about Brussels sprouts here? What type of world-famous food actually comes from Belgium and not their
Not the waffles. Waffles don't actually come from there, right?
neighbors, despite its inaccurate name in some parts of the world? What did Belgian children drink at school for lunch in the 1960s and 70s? And why is Brussels nicknamed the capital of Europe? Answers to these questions and so many more will be sprouting out throughout the whole video. Stay tuned to learn all about this fascinating country, starting with its geography.
Can't you sit still for a little bit?
Song's a vibe.
Belgium is located in Western Europe and borders the North Sea, as well as the countries the Netherlands, France, Germany, and Luxembourg. The name Belgium dates all the way back to Roman times and is believed to come from the Belgae tribes, which lived in the northern part of what was then Gaul. According to the experts, the name has its roots from the Proto-Celtic words Belg and Bolg, which means to swell with anger. When
Which means to swell with anger. Is he going to say that Belgian people have this same kind of rage? Is that true?
Julius Caesar conquered their lands, he observed that their language and traditions were quite different from those of the other tribes in Gaul. The Romans described the Belgae as the bravest of all the tribes of Gaul. Culturally,
that's actually so cool. Julius Caesar, well, and the Romans, described Belgians as the bravest the entire land of Gaul. That's amazing. Let's go. Belgium's already hyping me up. Let's go.
And physically, Belgium is divided into 3 autonomous regions. Dutch-speaking Flanders in the north, French-speaking Wallonia in the south, and the multilingual Brussels capital region. Adding to the flavor of this small country is the German-speaking community of Belgium. Known as the East Cantons and with its own government, it is located on the border with Germany, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg. Flanders makes up less than half of the land in Belgium, but the Flemish make up 60% of the population. The French-speaking region of Wallonia has over...
That is so cool. This is some Narnia stuff right here. Is that the inspiration of Narnia? What is this? This is like a pyramid in the middle of farmland with the lion on top. Wallonia. Not Narnia, Wallonia. This is so cool.
Over half of the land of all of Belgium, but only about 1/3 of the population. To oversimplify their issues, traditionally there have been tensions between the two due to having separate languages. Adding to the drama, the French-speaking Walloons were richer and more powerful than their neighbors to the north, early in the marriage of Belgium, and it led to some resentment. That began to change after World War II when Flanders put its money into innovation, which led to the building of new businesses.
It looks so beautiful. By the way, if you see a city that you know, maybe even live there, make sure you drop the city. I need to visit Belgium. I've never been. I'm thinking about this city. I don't know what it is. I can only see this building, but it looks stunning just from this image.
Causing the Dutch-speaking Flanders to surpass Wallonia in wealth. Belgium has 3 main physical regions: the coastal plain in the northwest, the central plateau, and the Ardennes uplands in the southeast. The coastal plain is mainly made up of sand dunes and polders, areas of land close to or below sea level that have been reclaimed from the sea. These lowlands are protected by dikes on the
Oh, that's cool. That is awesome.
coast and further inland by fields that have been drained with canals. The central plateau lies further inland and is defined by the fertile valleys that are irrigated by Belgium's many waterways. More rugged than the first 2 regions, the Ardennes is rocky and thickly forested. It was also the location of some of the most significant battles of the 20th century. More on that in a bit. And finally, Belgium is the second most densely populated country in the world when it comes to
In the world?
the castles after Wales.
when it comes to castles. I'm going to Belgium right now. If you're watching this video and you've seen my other videos, I've never mentioned this, but I am obsessed with castles. I love castles more than anything. As an American, castles are like the coolest thing in the world. Belgium is the second most populated country in the world with castles. I gotta go.
With the small country boasting 3,000 of them. A few of the many Belgian castles to check out include...
Oh my gosh. Are these for sale?
Klavenstein, which in Dutch means the Castle of Counts. It dates all the way back to the reign of Arnulf I in the...
Arnulf. My last name's Arnold. Low-key, this is my great-grandpappy. Arnulf. I'm gonna have to look into that. That is so cool.
10th century AD. Oudonk Castle in East Flanders dates back to at least 1230 and was destroyed several times in its history. And Gaspeek, which is used as a national museum. It was originally built in 1240 to defend the Duchy of Brabant against the County of Flanders. Let's check out what comes from Belgium.
All right, I'm sorry, real quick. Belgium, I'm already obsessed. If you're Belgian and you're watching this and you're 5 minutes into this video, yeah, I already love your country. I'm seeing castles, I'm seeing sculptures, these woods, I'm seeing waterways. Like, this country looks amazing. How hard is it for an American to learn Flemish? I need to know, or French.
Welcome. Stay calm.
Where to start? Two of the most famous cartoons are originally from Belgium. Created in 1958 by Belgian artist Pierre Colleford, the Smurfs are little blue creatures, almost all males, that live in
The Smurfs. The Smurfs are from Belgium. What?
mushroom homes in the forest. There are more than 100 Smurf characters, and their names are based on adjectives that emphasize their characteristics, such as Grouchy Smurf, who's never in a good mood. How there are so many of them despite only having 3 girls ever recorded in the village is a question from my childhood I still don't have an answer to. Smurfs! The Adventures of Tintin was created by Belgian cartoonist Georges Remy. The series first appeared in French in January of 1929 and is centered around its hero Tintin, a courageous young Belgian reporter and adventurer aided by his faithful dog Snowy and other allies.
Snowy.
Tintin was one of the most popular European comics of the 20th century. From the drawn to the written, the Communist Manifesto was written by Prussians Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels while living in Brussels. Later
No way. The Communist Manifesto was written in Brussels.
recognized as one of the world's most influential political documents, the manifesto presents an analytical approach to the class struggle between the rich and the poor and the conflicts of capitalism regarding how goods are produced. It formed the basis of the modern communist movement as we know it, arguing that capitalism would inevitably self-destruct to be replaced by socialism and ultimately communism. Currently, there are 5 countries in the world that are communist. It's looking like Marx was wrong about that whole capitalism will self-destruct theory. Bazinga. Speaking of Bazinga, Belgian physicist and priest Georges Lamaitre
Physicist and priest? Is that what he said? Hold on.
destruct theory. Bazinga. Speaking of Bazinga, Belgian physicist and priest Georges Lamaitre proposed the Big Bang Theory on the...
No way. That is pretty crazy. Wow. The Big Bang Theory, one of science's most, I guess, well-known things. I feel like everybody knows about the Big Bang Theory. It's from a Belgian priest and physicist. That's pretty crazy.
On the origin of the universe, calling it the hypothesis of the primeval atom, and later calling it the beginning of the world. In simple terms, the Big Bang is how astronomers explain the way the universe began. It is the idea that the universe began as just a single point, then expanded and stretched to grow as large as it is right now. And it is still stretching to this day, kinda like stretchy pants on Thanksgiving. For the music lovers out there, the saxophone was invented by Belgian inventor and musician Adolphe Sax around 1840. The saxophone...
This is one of those music instruments that you just can't get enough of. It's so, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm actually at loss for words right now. It has this like sexy sound. Really, saxophone is this sexy instrument. It comes from Belgium. Okay.
Saxophone, or the sax, is a type of single-reed woodwind instrument with a conical body, usually made of brass, and sounds like this. Some of the greatest saxophonists of all time include John Coltrane, Charlie Parker, and Sonny Rollins. While spa therapies have been used dating back to ancient Greek and Roman times, the word spa comes from the name of the town Spa, Belgium, whose name is known from Roman times, when the location was called Aquae Spadanae. As the site of cold springs with alleged healing properties, Spa has been frequented as a watering place since the 14th century and is still one of the most visited places in Belgium.
The spa comes from a town named Spa in Spa, Belgium. This is crazy.
2021, the town became part of the transnational UNESCO World Heritage Site under the name Great Spa Towns of Europe. The world's first fully synthetic plastic was bakelite, invented in 1907 by Belgian inventor Leo Baekeland, who coined the term plastics. Dozens of different types of plastics are produced today, and it's doubtful Baekeland fully understood all the positives and negatives of plastics. On one hand, plastic is durable, cheap to make, water-resistant, and lightweight. On the other hand, plastics have proven to be a huge environmental problem and a danger to many types of animals. Don't believe me? Google the Great Pacific Garbage Patch in the
That's really sad to see. Look at that garbage patch. It's just floating in the ocean.
Pacific Ocean. Yikes. So many other things are Belgian ideas and inventions, including
Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that city, built right on the water.
the body mass index, which contributes to my depression, the Mercator map projection, though its creation is disputed, and the medication Imodium. The Belgians are also credited with having the first stock exchange in 1531 in the city of Antwerp. According to Investopedia, brokers and moneylenders would meet there to deal with businesses, government, and even individual debt issues. What else has happened in Belgium?
This little country is shocking me right now. They have so much to offer. Belgium, like really, you're crazy.
We will find out next as we explore Belgian history.
Let's do it.
The concept of Belgium is not very old, with the tiny nation gaining its independence in 1830. But before
1830,
that, the
okay.
area that is today known as Belgium was taken over by many larger powers and broken into smaller states many times, dating all the way back to the ancient times. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I wrote out the history of Belgium before independence and it got a bit lengthy. Let's just say historically, present-day Belgium has been coveted by its neighbors for a long time. Here's the shortened version. In order, ancient Belgium was inhabited by the Celtics and became a part of Gaul. Gaul was conquered by the Romans. After Rome's fall, Belgium was conquered by the Franks under the Merovingian dynasty, who eventually gave way to the Frankish Carolingian dynasty. Still with me? Around this time, the Vikings raided the heck out of present-day Belgium, but they didn't necessarily capture it. The lowlands were divided and reunified several times before being divided into France and the Holy Roman Empire. Of course, parts of it were a member of each. Eventually, the land that is Belgium again broke into independent-ish provinces, some of which whose names I won't even try to say. Not doing it. In 1214, France defeated the county of Flanders in the Battle of Bovines, placing Flanders under French control for the next century until the beginnings of the 100 Years' War with England. Of course, you can probably see how the Low Countries were caught in the middle of that fight. By 1433, most of the Belgian territory became part of Burgundy under Philip the Good. But when his granddaughter married Maximilian I, the Low Countries became Habsburg territory. It was around this time that Belgian cities took turns at being major European centers for commerce, industry, and art. Speaking of art, pre-independence Belgium.
This is crazy. This is crazy. He just gave us like such a deep history in 1 minute. That was insane. I need to watch another history video. If you have any about Belgium, please let me know. Please drop those in the comments.
Belgium was quite active in the Renaissance, represented by the Flemish Primitives, a group of painters such as Jan van Eyck and Rogier van der Weyden. The Pragmatic Sanction of 1549 established the so-called 17 provinces, again making the area including modern Belgium a bunch of little independent states. The northern part of the 17 provinces eventually formed the
Hold on, what city is that? I need to show this to you because you gotta tell me.
Including modern Belgium a bunch of little independent states. The northern part of the
What city is this? That is so beautiful. Like, really, that's so nice.
17 provinces eventually formed the Dutch Republic and became Protestant, while those in present-day Belgium remained Catholic. This led Spain to attack the Dutch and eventually present-day Belgium. The Dutch were able to free themselves, the Belgians were not, placing it under Spanish control until 1713. Have we made it to modern-day Belgium yet? Nope. Most of the Spanish War of Succession from 1701 to 1714 was fought in present-day Belgium, putting Belgium under the control of the Austrian Habsburgs, who formed the Austrian Netherlands. The area was invaded and annexed by the French in 1795, who held serve in Belgium until the 1840s.
That's Belgium? No way. That's amazing right there. Look at that view.
14 defeat of Napoleon. Napoleon came back and was finally defeated at the Battle of Waterloo in present-day Belgium, while on his way.
Holy cow, I feel really ignorant right now. I did not know the Battle of Waterloo was in Belgium. What? You're kidding me.
To capture Brussels. This led the Congress of Vienna to again combine Belgium with the Dutch, creating the United Kingdom of the Netherlands, from whom the Belgians gained independence from in 1830. With that out of the way, let's talk about Belgian history, shall we? The Belgian Revolution broke out in August of 1830 when crowds, stirred by a performance of Auber's La Moette de Portici at the Brussels Opera House of La Monnaie, spilled out into the streets singing patriotic songs. Violent street fighting soon broke out and anarchy reigned in Brussels.
Oh
Who knew
gosh.
opera could be so destructive? Revolution broke out because the Belgians felt underrepresented in the Netherlands' elected lower assembly. They also were not fans of the unpopular Prince of Orange, who would one day become William II. The rest of the European powers did not love the idea of a Belgian-Dutch breakup. I mean, they did put them together for a reason. But despite their reservations, in November of 1830, the powers met in England for the London Conference of 1830, also known as the Belgian Conference, and an armistice was ordered on November 4th. The Constitution of Belgium was accepted on July 21st, 1831, and
July 21st, 1831. That's when Belgium became officially a country. Okay.
Leopold I of Saxe-Coburg was
Leopold
named
I.
king. One interesting guy, we will discuss both Leopold I and II in the people section of the video. Around the time Belgium was becoming its own country, the Belgians became the second country to industrialize after Great Britain, setting the pace for the rest of the continental Europe. Starting in the mid-1820s, the availability of cheap coal was a main factor in attracting entrepreneurs and eventually propelling Belgium into becoming an economic giant. Belgium was officially neutral in both world wars, but the Germans
Officially neutral. Okay. I actually heard about this because I heard that the Germans took over in the Second World War. I'm not sure about the first one, but I guess we'll learn here.
Germans invaded both times anyway, first running through Belgium to march on Paris, and again in the Second World War, in which King Leopold III surrendered after 18 days without consulting with the government. His questionable leadership forced him to abdicate in 1951. In keeping with the tradition of major battles happening on Belgian soil, a large chunk of the Battle of the Bulge was fought.
Oh, Battle of the Bulge. I forgot about this battle. Oh my gosh.
Belgium. The last major German offensive, it was launched through the densely forested Ardennes region between Belgium and Luxembourg. The offensive was unsuccessful and Germany was on the run for the remainder of the war. Belgium has a rich
So the Battle of the Bulge was a shifting point in the Second World War.
History, in no small part due to their amazing people.
Let's get to the people. Let's go.
About 98% of Belgians live in urban areas, and it is the 22nd most densely populated country in the world.
Okay, 98% of people live in urban areas. That is insane. Do they not do any farming like in Belgium, or is it just like, a few people have all the farms?
As mentioned before, the bulk of the country speaks either Dutch or French, depending on which region they're from. One thing Belgians do not excel at is marriage. With a 70% divorce rate, the country...
Hold on a second. 70%? Something's not right here. 70. What?
Has the highest rate in Western Europe and one of the highest divorce rates in the world. I wonder how you say prenup in French or Dutch. It is believed that as much as 1/3 of the Belgian population is either from other countries or children of people from other countries.
So it's a very diverse country.
Immigrants coming from all over Europe and beyond, with large numbers of immigrants coming from Morocco, Turkey, and the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Interesting.
One example would be Belgian footballer Romelu Lukaku, who was the national team's all-time top scorer and the son of parents from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Famous Belgians include legendary actress Audrey Hepburn, who was
Audrey Hepburn is from Belgium? Oh my gosh.
Born in Brussels. Fashion designer Liz Claiborne was also born in Brussels, the daughter of American parents. She lived the first 10 years of her life in Belgium, moving back to the United States at the beginning of World War II. In Belgium, Robert Callio was the co-inventor of the World Wide Web while working at CERN.
Belgium, you gotta chill out. You gotta chill out right now. This is craziness. The World Wide Web from Belgium. What hasn't Belgium invented? I mean, this is nuts.
While not often associated with Belgium, middle-aged leaders Charlemagne, Charles V, and Charles Martel were all born in present-day Belgium.
You're kidding. Charlemagne was born in Belgium? I've had enough. Belgium's going crazy right now. This is amazing.
Leopold I was Belgium's first king despite not being Belgian. Check his story out. Born in Germany, he was given the rank of Major General of the Russian Imperial Army at the age of 12, despite not being Russian. At the age of 16, he was a part of Napoleon's imperial court. Was he French? Nope. Turning down a position under Napoleon, he then remembered he was a general in the Russian Imperial Army and fought Napoleon's armies in battle. Despite not being British, he did become a British citizen at the age of 26 and married Princess Charlotte, second
This guy's insane. He was everywhere.
in line to the British throne. Charlotte died a year into the marriage after miscarrying. After all this, Leopold was offered the Greek crown despite not being Greek, which he passed on before ascending the Belgian throne on July 21st, 1831. Today, the Belgian national holiday. He may have been the most interesting man in the world, and he was
he may have been. That he sounds insane.
given the Belgian crown despite not being Belgian. Then again, he wasn't Greek either, or Russian, or French. The second son of Leopold was Leopold II, whose record was a bit more checkered. On the positive side, he was referred to as the Builder King in Belgium due to all the buildings, urban projects, and public works he commissioned.
I feel like that's so common. Like you have an old king or someone from history who did so much for architecture and the current buildings of the country, but besides that, they're just forgotten completely. But without them, you wouldn't have the beautiful look of these cities. So there's something to be said for them also.
The negative side was his brutal treatment of those living in what is today the Democratic Republic of Congo under his watch. At the Berlin Conference of 1884 and 85, Leopold was given the Congo Free State to improve the lives of the people living there. He instead worked to improve his own life. Leopold extracted a fortune from the Congo, initially by the collection of ivory, then rubber in the 1890s, using forced labor. Under his leadership, failure of the Congolese to meet collection quotas was punishable by death. Many Congolese inhabitants, including children, were
Their hands were cut.
mutilated, killed, or died from disease and famine. The estimated death toll of Leopold II's reign of terror is estimated between 1 and 15 million people, which often places him on various worst people in history lists. Sorry, Belgium, I have to report the good and the bad.
Fresh chip off the block. Watch my head spin. I got awkward thoughts and a neck twitch. I fall off
The Belgian national dish is moule frites, mussels cooked or steamed with onions and celery served with Belgian fries. Speaking of fries, while many
Sorry, what? Let me rewind that. I gotta see that again. Moules frites mussels? Interesting. Okay.
was cooked or steamed with onions and celery served with Belgian fries. Speaking of fries, while many in the Western world, specifically the United States and Canada, call them French fries, there is good reason to believe that fries were actually invented in Belgium.
No way. I should have known. I should have known this video was going to go that way. Belgium. I mean, I'm just shocked. This entire video. It's insane.
The countries continue to argue over who made them first. Common Belgian lore claims that the original fry was born in Namur in the Wallonian region of Belgium, where the locals were fond of fried fish. When the River Meuse froze over one cold winter in 1680, people fried potatoes instead of the small fish they were accustomed to, and the French or Belgian fry was created. American soldiers stationed in the region during World War I allegedly dubbed the potatoes French fries, and the common name was born. Sounds like a good debate in the comments. Where do you think French fries
Yes, it does. Where do you think French fries are from?
came from? While waffles have been around since ancient Greece, no one takes their waffles more seriously than the Belgians. A dish made from leavened batter or dough that is cooked between two patterned plates, there are 12 variations of waffles in Belgium alone. Belgian waffles tend to have lighter batter, larger squares, and deeper pockets than the American waffles. If you are in fact watching this,
That looks delicious. Okay, so they're deeper squares than the American pockets. Okay, so they're like a taller, are they crunchier maybe? I don't know.
from the United States. The Belgians are also renowned for their beer, which rates as among the best in the world.
Okay.
In 2011, there were over 1,100 different varieties of beer being produced in the country at
1,100? Oh my gosh.
304 different breweries. The brewing tradition in Belgium can be traced back to the early Middle Ages, and 6 Trappist monasteries still produce beer, which was
That's insane. The monks began beer production. That's amazing.
initially used to fund their upkeep. Most beers are bought and served in bottles, and almost every style of beer has its own particular uniquely shaped glass or other drinking vessel, which can really clutter up Belgian cabinets.
Wow.
Using the correct glass is considered to improve its flavor. Having previously worked at a craft beer bar, I could go on about Belgian styles and breweries forever, but let's move on and answer one of the main questions from the beginning of the video. In the 1970s, students consumed beer with their school lunches. You're probably getting one heck of a visual right now.
Beer with school lunches. What?
aren't you? But before we rush to judge, hear their reasoning out. Keep in mind the beer was a table beer and not strong at all. The most popular table beer was Piedboeuf, and it had a
What does he mean by table beer?
1.1% ABV alcohol in it, and there was a lot of sugar added to make it as sweet as Coca-Cola, making it about 4 times weaker than your typical Coors Light. Mistakenly seen as healthy at the time, once the Belgian government realized it was not, big shock there, they shut it down. Another Belgian delicacy that has to be mentioned is Belgian.
Oh, Belgian chocolate. Do you prefer, like, what's the percentage? Is it like 80% dark, 75? What's a classic Belgian?
Chocolate. Chocolate production in the country dates back to 1635, and today the country has more than 2,000 chocolate shops. Brussels Airport is the world's largest sales outlet for chocolate, selling over 800 tons a year.
Government economy, let's go.
Have you ever wondered if we really needed a government? Belgium has proven that some places can go months, even years, without a national government.
What does he mean by that? I thought Belgium became a country in 1831. Okay, let's see. I'm confused.
Following the Belgian general election held on the 13th of June in 2010, they did not have a required majority in its 150-seat Chamber of Representatives, leaving it without an active government for 589 days.
What? So there was no leader of Belgium for 589 days.
Majority is difficult to come by in the Belgian legislature because there are 11 parties elected to the chamber,
11?
and coalitions that represent a majority can prove to be difficult. As crazy as that sounds, the Belgians recently broke their own record, agreeing to a government in October of 2020 after 652 days without one. When they do have a functioning national government, Belgium is a federal parliamentary democracy under a constitutional monarchy. Its monarch is King Philippe, who has reigned since 2013. The current prime minister is Alexander De Croo, at least until the government dissolves again. Its capital is Brussels, which makes sense because Brussels is also known as the capital of Europe, a name it gets for being the seat of the European Union. While the EU...
Why did they choose Brussels, actually? Why did the EU choose Brussels? I've never understood.
Has no official capital. Brussels hosts the official seats of the European Commission, Council of the European Union, and the European Council, as well as a seat of the European Parliament. The city is also a political and administrative center of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, also known as NATO. Many other international organizations, such as the World Customs Organization and Eurocontrol, as well as international corporations, have their main institutions in the city. In terms of the economy, we previously highlighted Belgian chocolate. They are in fact the #2 exporter of chocolate in the world.
Wow, #2 in the whole world.
Antwerp is known as the diamond capital of the world, and as much as 85% of the world's rough diamonds pass through the city's diamond district each year.
Is that because of the Democratic Republic of the Congo? I imagine these come from Africa, right?
The city has 4 diamond exchanges, names I get crucified for trying to pronounce. Antwerp's history in the diamond trade dates all the way back to as early as the 16th century. Another interesting fact about the Belgian economy is that 80% of all billiard balls are made in Belgium.
Sorry, what? 80% of all billiard balls? The amount of fun facts coming out of Belgium right now is just crazy. This Belgium reaction is like one of my favorites of all time. This is amazing.
The site of the Dutch city of New Amsterdam and the borough of Manhattan of modern-day New York City.
That's crazy. So this guy who has Belgian ancestry literally is the one who bought Manhattan from the Indians, Native Americans. That's crazy.
Common account states that Manuel purchased Manhattan for $24 worth of trinkets.
$24. Oh
George Washington Goethals was born in Brooklyn, New York. American
Panama Canal. Wow.
Industrialist Henry Ford, who's
not Henry Ford too. Not Henry Ford. The most iconic car ever in America, the Ford, and he's gonna be Belgian.
Mother was the child of Belgian immigrants, was the founder of the Ford Motor Company, and
That's
chief
crazy.
developer of the assembly line technique of mass production. By creating the first automobile that middle-class Americans could afford, he converted the automobile from an expensive luxury into an accessible show in Cookie Monster, Bert, and Grover in Sesame Street.
That's amazing.
Impressive career he has. Other people with Belgian lineage include missionary and explorer Louis Hennepin, actors Robert Duvall and Georgia Fox, and athletes Jacob deGrom, Tim Tebow, and Kiki Vander.
Tim Tebow? No way. Belgium, like, okay, he needs, by the way, I don't think he's mentioned how many people live in Belgium. I actually don't know. I just know it's a smaller country. Maybe like 5 million people? I actually don't know. If you could let me know, I would love to know that.
Wake up, get up, stretch my
With its picturesque canals, Bruges is often referred to as the Venice of the North. Once directly
Venice of the
connected
North.
with the sea like Venice itself, gradual silting since around 1050 has caused the city to lose its direct access to the sea, but remains one of the most beautiful cities in Europe. Bruges has a significant economic importance thanks to its port and was once one of the world's chief commercial cities. Today, Bruges remains a major tourism destination within Belgium and is well known as the seat of the College of Europe, a university institute for European studies.
Is that Bruges right there? Because that looks really beautiful. Wow, okay. There's a huge college there. It's right on the river. This looks like one of these cities to go to. I think I need to go here.
The capital and largest city of West Flanders, the historic city center was added to UNESCO's World Heritage List in 2000.
Wow. The little boy peeing. Do you know what this is? What is this?
One of the best-known symbols of Brussels in Belgium is Mannequin Peace, a bronze fountain sculpture in central Brussels depicting a naked little boy urinating into the fountain's basin. The name of this tiny statue simply translates to Peeing Boy. As time went on, legends began to grow about Mannequin Peace. The most popular story states how the little Peeing Boy saved the capital. One day, the enemy seemingly retreated, but they had really put tons of gunpowder under the city. A little boy saw the burning fuse and quickly peed on it. Did it
No way. What an amazing story.
really happen? Sometimes it's best to leave tales to the imagination. The world we live in is a complex network of people and places with wonderful histories and cultures. The tiny country of Belgium has a massive footprint on a global community that thrives when ideas are exchanged. What was the most interesting thing you learned about Belgium? Be sure to share in the comments. Until next time, thank you for taking time out of your day to explore our global community.
Insane video. That was one of the most interesting videos I have ever watched. Belgium. What is up, my Belgian friends? That was amazing. Wow. I don't even know where to start. Battle of Waterloo, World Wide Web. What else? You eat mussels. Mussels is one of your common things. The French fry. Like, come on. I mean, this is really blowing my mind right now. I don't even know what to say. Like, in this video, I want to end it in a good way, but I'm just stunned. Like, Belgium, you just blew my socks off. This is crazy. All my Belgian friends, if you watched this video and you enjoyed it, I would love for you to leave me any comments, to drop any video recommendations down below. I'm going to keep exploring this beautiful country because there's so much to offer. Oh my gosh. Well, thanks for being here. I hope to see you in the very next video. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, and I will see you then. Cheers.